Whoops. I have a late start here this morning. Hi, my name is Reverend Annie Batchelder, and this is a live channeling on Facebook, my group, Bringing Forth Soul Consciousness, named after my book, Bringing Forth Soul Consciousness, hence the background on the Zoom, on the YouTube, but here it is. This is my beautiful book. And I'm here to answer any questions you might have and to bring whatever joy and love and clarity I can bring to your experience today. I'm going to go ahead and find the Facebook version of this because here we go. Let's see, lots of messages here. I was preoccupied with doing something else. Anyhow, I'm looking forward to answering your questions. All you have to do is write something into the comments, and when I see it on a Facebook thing, I will answer your question. And I'm looking. All right. At this point, there's nobody out there who's missing out on getting their questions answered for free by a qualified channel with 34 years of experience and a ton of clients. And that forces me to perhaps open the book and find something useful and worthy to read to you. This is the way the book looks inside. And there are paragraphs of text and highlighted paragraphs of the really essential parts and points here. It's this chapter is on page 238. It's chapter 30. Let me get the title of that one. I don't have it all in my head. Oh, it's on self-doubt and disappointment. I laugh because life is full of self-doubt and disappointment. Often missing something, or I think it should have been a different way, and it's what it is, and I'm somehow not in agreement with it, whatever it is. I had a different expectation. So this chapter says it requires willingness to be divinely led, and that, to me, is really what this month is doing. This month, not this month, just this year is really about being divinely led, lining up with my soul's light. You know how I love to say, embody your soul's light. The guides are always telling me to embody my soul's light. And that makes me feel stronger and more beautiful, more aligned. And so that also, when I'm aligned with my soul, automatically connects me with the divine, brings my energy out. So just going to move some little spilly things out of the way so I don't have a serious accident on my computer. So being divinely led this year really is a key. It's so, so important. And as you're being divinely led, consider this. First, get comfortable with the change you're consciously considering. Allow yourself to grow into it. Play. I love that word, play. It's not so serious because, we're humans. We like to make things serious. So, play with creating various visuals and vignettes that represent the new you. and the new situation you desire. With your Akashic records open, ask your masters, teachers, and loved ones what they recommend. You are free to ask them how self-doubt pertains to the change you are planning. Is this a soul purpose? Then measure your readiness to go forward. You may be awaiting divine timing. There's an excellent chapter on awaiting divine timing in this book too. So, get one of these books. If you want one personally signed by me, then pen or Venmo me $30 and with your shipping address, and I will sign it. And when I sign them, I put a special note inside for you. I tune into you and I write a special note to you. Good morning, Karen Shine. I hope you have a question for me. I'm really looking forward to channeling for somebody. That's my whole purpose in life. And so I swear, if I go too long without doing readings for people, I about go out on the sidewalk and grab somebody like, come on in, I got to give somebody a reading. So you may be awaiting divine timing. This is one of the hardest things to do. Really is. Like, what? Patience? And my culture, my society around me is always telling me you can have this instantly if you just think a certain way. Well, I beg to differ. It's not been my experience that you can have this just because you change the way you're thinking. It's like the personality doesn't do well with surprise changes. My personality needs to sneak up on things that I want to change, needs to get comfy with it and play with it and try it on and take it off, kind of like playing dress up. Remember when you played dress up as a kid? You try that version of you on and see how it goes. How's it feel? Does it feel comfortable? Does it make you feel uncomfortable? In what way? What gets upset? Okay, they're having me handle this beautiful little, I think this is a labradorite with a anodized finish on it or something like that, or that my stepdaughter Lisa Davis gave me. And I keep it right here on my desk. Anyway, so rather than dive in cold, surprise, bam, it takes a while for me to get ready for changes. But when the moment arrives, then it seems like very sudden. But it's actually something I've been probably working up to for quite a while. I remember my former partner, Matt Harris, bless you wherever you are, Matt Harris. The night when it became clear to me that all the doors and windows that had been closed to my leaving the relationship before this moment opened up, and all of a sudden it was doable. I knew where I could live. I knew I could make a living by doing readings. I could bring in the right amount of money and cover my rent. And I wasn't dependent anymore. And I had been disabled with MS previous to this time. And then in 2010, I started getting well. And in 2011, it was time for me to leave the relationship. I didn't need to be with a caregiver. I didn't need to be helped as much. And it grew into that too. That took a good year, maybe even 14 months. But, doing sudden changes don't happen. And I'd been having a hard time in the relationship for a year, maybe two. And I'm sorry, it probably seemed absolutely abrupt to Matt Harris. Bless you. I send my love to you. Please forgive me for pain that I caused you. but it was time. And I had to take the opportunity. I had to accept that that was what was going on, was time. And it was as if there were no other options, and it just was time to act. And but those 1 or 2 years previous to that moment of leaving, I've been thinking about it, but I wasn't well enough. I didn't have the courage. I didn't feel like I had a way of taking care of myself. There wasn't a place for me to stay. There wasn't anything new lined up. But sometimes it takes a while for the universe to actually pull the molecules together into reality so we can actually do what we are desiring. So we can actually have what we're desiring. So, folks, the overnight method, don't worry about it. Put it in the divine's hands. There are many years, I think it still works for me, that I had like 2 piles. There was one pile in front of me, and that was the things I needed to do to take care of myself. Like, good morning, Shannon. Good morning, Karen Shine. The pile in front of me was the things I had to do to take care of myself, like feed myself, get enough rest, get exercise, pay my own bills, do the dishes, whatever. Just the very practical self, take care of my life stuff. The things that I couldn't handle, like my concerns about others or big problems in the world, and I had to just slide over into God's pile over here. That if I couldn't fix it, I couldn't do anything about it. I couldn't be useful about that. Like I think Katrina, when the Katrina hurricane hit New Orleans, I wanted so much to help. And I was broke. I was really sick with MS. I was living with my mother. I had nothing, no money to spare. I couldn't go down there and help. I wasn't physically able. I would have been a problem more than an asset. So I just said, okay, God, I'm putting this problem in your pile. And if there's a moment when I can help somebody or some way, you'll let me know. And then it came, a few months later, a woman who was kind of evacuated from that Hurricane Katrina came out and lived in Marin County. And I met her in an AA meeting, of which I'm a proud member, or not very active right now, but certainly grateful for 23 years of sobriety, 24 years of sobriety, something like that. Anyway, there was an apartment available at my father's building, and I recommended her for this place, and she lived there up until last year. And that was a long time. So it worked out. Anyway, so that's how God handles things, not on my schedule, on God's schedule. And I have to be in agreement with that, because it's God's terms are bigger, stronger, better than mine. Usually what I have in mind is too small for the divine. So God brings me a bigger perspective, and the divine finds the perfect way for things to come together for me. And I think that's what's happening with this wonderful book that I wrote. And I want to invite you all Saturday, if you live in the Bay Area of California, near San Francisco, Marin County, the East Bay, I'm doing a meet and greet at Copperfield's Books, and they're carrying my book, Bringing Forth Soul Consciousness, an Akashic Records Guide to Living a Fulfilled Life. This is a good book. I mean, I read some of this, it's all channeled. It's not me. It's all channeled. And when I read some of these things, it just makes so much sense. And the energy that comes through printed page is really, you can feel it. You can feel it. And I want you to have the opportunity to own one of these. But Saturday at 11 a.m. Pacific time to 1 p.m. at Copperfield's Books in Nevada, 999 Grant Avenue. It's right almost on the corner of Redwood Boulevard and Grant Avenue. There, I'll be doing a meet and greet, and you can buy a book there, and I'll even sign it for you. You can buy this also directly from me at anniechannels.com, or you send some, if you send me $30, I'll sign it and put a special note inside the book for you. And you can have this book. It teaches you how to open your Akashic records and kind of do what I do. And your Akashic records are the soul's entire journey recorded. So when you're wondering, like, why the heck this misery showed up in my life, or how was this health situation beneficial for my soul growth and my evolution as a spiritual being on this planet, how is this supposed to help me? If you want to know where is the best place for me to move, you can go in your Akashic records and look at that. You can look at the address of places you want to live, or you're thinking about moving to, or a house that you're thinking about buying, or a place that you're thinking about renting. There is a lot you can do in these Akashic records. You're asking questions and receiving energy and information. And so, as a conscious channel for over 34 years, thank you. I find the Akashic records particularly useful in getting personal information. However, it's big enough that the Akashic records also have information about the Grand Canyon or a monument, or why this or that Earth event happened, or is it true that, or why, what, why, and how questions go really well in the Akashic records. What's the higher purpose of this? How is this supposed to be beneficial for me? And why is my soul utilizing this to help me grow, expand, become stronger, evolve, become more spiritual, become more connected with the divine? Whatever the question is, quite interesting. And really, the information that comes through them is very practical, very elemental, very applicable. The records and the Akashic beings of light who oversee our activities there will deliver up the most useful information for you at this time. What's going to really help you the most at this time? I'm getting a lot of requests for information about pets lately, and I don't think of myself as a pet psychic or anything, but I can get information that might be very helpful. Dietary, the issues causing the problems, all that kind of stuff. That stuff definitely comes through in my readings, and that is useful and helpful for you. So good morning, Shannon Altman Hood. I'm at work right now and have to run if Betty calls. Okay, I understand. Thanks for being here. Love that. And do say hello when you get here. Marie Lane, I see that you're here today, and I'm looking forward to talking more with you. I think you'd like this book, Marie. Very interesting and helpful. And this live channeling is really for you. Hi, Marie, thank you. And who else did I see was here earlier? Oh, Karen Shine. You can write a question in the comments here on the Facebook group page, and I will channel an answer for you. And most questions that you have are going to be helpful information for people as a whole. So you're not an idiot for having a question. Everybody has questions. And, I think of my brother saying, open your mouth and remove all doubt. That's like, ask your questions, have the question that you have, put it on the table, really look at it instead of letting it like Merkley run around in the back here, but it's controlling your actions because you're trying to avoid it, but it's trying to get your attention. So you might as well put your attention on it and get it taken care of. Take care of that piece of business. And questions are the can openers to the Akashic Records. So if you get the book, Bringing Forth Soul Consciousness, an Akashic Records Guide to Living a Fulfilled Life, then you learn how to work in your Akashic Records. You learn how to open your own Akashic Records and get information and get your own questions answered. It really is self-empowerment. And it really is about spiritual growth and divine alignment. And, this will cause you to grow, and it will cause you to feel that you and your soul are one, working together to live this life. That you're on the same page and that your soul is your friend. Your soul loves you. There are a lot of there's a lot of information in this book about the soul. And when I was channeling this, they brought up some interesting things about this. We were never really told how to be responsible to or for our souls. Religions threatened that if you didn't become saved by an avatar of their choice, then you were going to go to hell, and that your soul would be in permanent purgatory and burning forever, and what a threat. And yet there really wasn't a lot of information about how to get to know your soul, how to own your own soul, how does your soul own you, and how to interact with your soul. And this book changes that, because it's really all about soul consciousness. This period in time really is about learning who your soul is, being connected to your soul. Your soul is perfect. Your soul is always sending love to you, and your soul is always evolving. And so for every evolving piece of your soul or part of your soul, you evolve. And for every time you evolve, the soul evolves, and back and forth and back and forth. So this is a two-part process, and linking with the soul, embodying the soul's light and consciousness automatically links you to the divine and the source of all love, all the supply, all your needs, all the help, like divine help. There's some good things to be had here. But what I'm really looking for is questions. Did anybody else show up here to watch this live and or see this and ask a question? So I am doing that meet and greet at Copperfield Books in Novato. It's on Grand Avenue, right near Redwood Boulevard. And, it's just walk in, you can buy a book, I'll sign it for you, support your local bookstore. We love those people because they're selling our books. And they're keeping us in the world of books, which I don't know about you, but several occasions in my life, books have transformed my world. What did I do when I wanted to start channeling? I got a book. I got a book called Opening to Channel by Sanaya Roman and Dwayne Packer. And they have been my teachers, since before then. And I got that book in 1988. And that transformed my life. I didn't know how to channel before I read that book. And it gave me the confidence and the instructions to sit down and learn how. And it turns out something definitely on my soul purposes category, because I've been doing it ever since then. And growing in the abilities all the time to sense energy and to receive the consciousness of my guides and to receive the consciousness of my soul. And my guide, Anubis, who has been with me since I started to channel, his higher purpose is to reunify humans with their souls and hence the divine. And that was the purpose that I got. Like, how does that combine with my higher purpose or my soul's purpose? I had no idea what I was doing. I had no idea my soul had a purpose. I had no idea whether I had a life purpose. That was a whole big period of discovery. And now I'm in my mid 60s, and this has been a point of interest for me since I started channeling. It's just been with me and a part of how I do things like that. So let's see, what else do we have here? So come to the meet and greet on Saturday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Copperfield Books. I'd love to see you there. So then this book, I'm going to keep reading. It says, you may be awaiting divine timing. Are you ready or not to act? Does your energy go up or down when you consider an action? Are you experiencing fear, excitement, enthusiasm, caution, dread? Let's be real. Sometimes I think I got to do something and I dread it. I mean, not just like dreading, like doing the taxes or something like that. It's just not much fun. But, when I think that I've got to do something that is really pushing the envelope way too far or out of alignment with my personality and my soul and my alignment with the divine, and I think I got to do it, that makes me really uncomfortable and miserable. And so that says to me that action needs to be reconsidered clearly, really reconsidered. I may be buying into somebody else's point of view or somebody else's recommendation, and I have choices. We all have choices. That's one of the great things about being a human on planet Earth now, is exercising the choices and experiencing the consequences thereof. Okay. The book says you have to decide right now, or do you have a window of time before a decision or action is required? And, when I was channeling this, they were really showing me at one point I was coming out of disability and I was going back to work. I had to get a job. And I was looking at taking this one job in a clothing store or taking this other job at a coffee shop. And there was something about the clothing store that didn't feel like I was going to have a good time, or I was going to be very short term there. I was going to get upset and like walk off the job or something like that. I think the expectations from them were really, really high. And I didn't know that I could fulfill that expectation. And I didn't want to be managed by the owner of the shop. So but I didn't have the guts. Like at the time, I told him I would call him back at 9 a.m. about the shop job, the dress shop job. And at 9 a.m., I didn't know what my decision was. And I said, I need a little bit more time to think about it. And by 11 o'clock in the morning, I knew what I was supposed to do. And it was to take the job at the coffee shop. And that's just the way I chose. But I honored my not knowing and needing more time. And then I did what seemed like the right thing at the time. And it was a great thing. It was, I thought it was a pretty good choice. It worked out really well. Anyway, it's a choice. It's a step along the way, but amongst other steps that follow after that. And that's the way we live with choices. That's how we manage choices. What kind of choice are you working with today? Is there something that's coming up in your life, whether it's a treatment for an illness or getting over grief? Are you trying to take on exercise and produce a better, more fit body? Are you trying to get out of an old habit in relationships or something? What is it you're facing? And we're in the earliest part of spring and starting to get the ideas of what's to be flowered, what's to be fertilized, what's to be from within and be expressed outside of ourselves. This year, what is going to blossom in spring for us? Well, it's spring in our hemisphere, not necessarily in the other people's hemisphere. But what's coming forth? What are you feeling urged to do or not do? Is it a decision to stop doing something, perhaps a destructive habit or an irritating habit? Or you want to change your life somehow? You want to make, move somewhere or get a different job? What do you need to look at? What is the choice? What are the choices you're facing or what choices you are considering? And are you open to the divine's highest and best good for you? Now there's a question to ask in your Akashic records. How can I be open to the divine's highest and best good for me through my soul, through my physical body, and my live presence here on earth? And as I said, the Akashic records are the perfect place to ask questions and get information because it'll be soul level information. It'll be what suits you in the highest way. It's nice to see Marie Lynn and Karen Shine and Shannon Altman Hood. Thank you for being here. So energetically, it is best if you take action only when the action is ripe. When the energy has set up enough to sustain action. Otherwise, it is better to be patient and wait. The idea will still be alive when divine timing gives you the go ahead. Isn't that a nice thought? The idea will still be alive when the divine timing gives you the go ahead. All I have to do is be patient and wait. It's not ready yet. Kind of like trying to pull up a sprout in the garden. And it's like, well, you can't eat that yet. It hasn't had time to grow into a full plant. So it can feed you, or you're destroying it before it even gets there. Or you're putting a bunch of energy into something that doesn't have, it's too early. The sun isn't high enough. It's not late enough in spring or summer to really have this plant feed you. Same thing with an idea or an action that you're considering. If not, the action will have lost its luster and your attention will be elsewhere. Do you ever find that true? You have this big idea, but it's not quite time to have it be put into action, and you're living with it, you're thinking about it, it's in your mind a lot, but with time, it just sort of dissipates. It sort of evaporates. It's not an actionable item. It's the way it is. It's the way it is. That's fine. You didn't do anything wrong. You didn't let the opportunity slip away. I would have to say that if that happens, the opportunity wasn't for you. It wasn't destined to be. It wasn't ripe. Perhaps it's something that will show up again later, but it wasn't the time to take action on that item. So let's see. We're getting close to the end here. I think I'll leave you with a prayer. And I like these affirmations. I and my soul are one. These are in my book, page 327. And these were channeled to me by Anubis. I and my soul are one. So repeat that after me. I and my soul are one. I and my soul are inseparable. I and my soul belong together. I and my soul walk hand in hand on the path of enlightenment together. I trust my inseparable soul to love me no matter what transpires. I trust my inseparable soul to stand by me. My soul has never and will never reject me. Consciously linked, my soul and I are clearly directed to the highest and best outcomes for our mutual benefit. My soul and I safely grow, expand, and explore together. My soul is my best friend and the keeper of my innermost gifts, talents, and abilities. My soul assists me with solutions, insights, and inspiration. My soul never abandons me in times of trouble. My soul aids in my healing, maturation, and supplies the courage needed to progress on my path. My soul actively draws me toward uplifting opportunities and abundance. The more I merge with my soul, the more healed and whole I am. The more my soul merges with me, the more we can accomplish together. The more I identify as my soul, the capabilities for achieving my aspirations increase. The more I identify as my soul, the fewer limitations, distractions, and obstacles I experience. The more my soul becomes my human identity, the more peace, inclusivity, and harmony I experience. I now see through the loving eyes of my soul. I now experience through the expanded awareness of my soul. I now love with my spiritual heart, the heart of my soul. I now clearly hear and follow the wisdom and direction of my soul. I and my soul are indivisible. My soul and I are one. We are one with the great creatress, the divine. Thank you, soul. Thank you, great creatress. And thank you, folks, for being with me today. We're sharing this time together as we take in the energy and wisdom of our souls and the divine and love ourselves as we are. I really appreciate you. And if you're wanting a reading, go on my website, anniechannels.com, anniechannels.com. And you can find the scheduling buttons for whatever kind of reading. Maybe you're facing surgery and you want to do a prep session. Maybe you're looking at buying or renting or moving into a different place. Maybe you're looking for a different job. Maybe you're looking to open your Akashic records and expand your spiritual experience. Maybe you're just looking for some questions answered You can get, you can have a divine energy healing too. Those are good. Or if you just have one question and you just want one question answered, I will do a one question reading for you and send you a voice memo channeling the answer to your one question for only 28 bucks. This is a serious bargain. I mean, I didn't even do them that low at the fairs. You know, readings at the fairs are 60 and $75. You know, so there's something that's sure to please everybody, I think. Or so my little people pleaser wants to say. I love you all. Thank you for being with me. Thank you for being you. Bye now. Have a marvelous day.